What's up, everybody? How's it going today on another episode of our Midday Motivations? Hey, do me a favor, hit the share button. I am not driving anymore, and I'm hoping the audio actually works this time for you. So I'm going to go into part 2 of how are you handling it. And today's message actually comes from and is birthed from just a review of multiple different people in the scriptures, because I truly feel that when it comes to the Bible, it was put there for us to learn and to glean from, to learn what we need to do, but also learn what we shouldn't do. Because there was some patterns that certain people had in their life that were detrimental to them, and they actually pushed them out of the calling that God had on their life because of their own choices and their improper way of handling it. And many of us might find ourselves into the same place where, and me included with this one, because it's about, like, how are you handling conflict, or how are you handling when you need to be the person to correct a situation. When it comes to us receiving from God a calling, that calling comes with responsibility. And with that responsibility, when we shun the requirement of doing those responsibilities, we are mishandling the beauty of God's calling in our life. And what I wanted to do, hopefully, in this message today was just to explain some of the different areas that the men and women of God in the scriptures were passive on needing to correct areas in their life. And because they were passive, they were removed from that place of influence. And so the first one that I wanted to talk about was Eli. Eli was known to be an amazing priest and a very godly man who prayed for, just did amazing things, absolutely amazing things. And but the problem is his sons were not good. Eli's sons were taking advantage of people at the temple. They were stealing the offerings. They were embezzling money. They were doing a bunch of crazy things. And because of it, it was causing a horrible uprising in Israel. It was causing a horrible uprising in God's heart because people were mishandling the blessing. Now, I don't know about you, but if you've ever been under the influence of someone who is mishandling their title as boss, and they've turned that title of boss into dictator, it makes for an unpleasant experience for them and for you. And so today, that's exactly what happened with the Eli sons that I was talking about. Is they were creating so much havoc within the temple and without and inside of Israel about how to handle sacrifices and stuff. And because of that, Eli was told about it. Eli was told, hey, your sons are seducing women. Your sons are stealing money. Your sons are stealing food. Your sons are doing all of this crazy stuff. But what did Eli do? Nothing. Eli, being the high priest, did not stop his sons from doing what was wrong to do. And because of that, because Eli was unable and unwilling to do the hard road of correcting his children, he had to be subjected to God having to bring in the correction, because God won't be mocked. And because of that, Eli was removed from the priesthood, and so were his sons. We can see over and over again, same thing. David had some family problems. David had some sons that were going at it with each other, and because David was unwilling to step into the situation, he ended up having one of his sons, his older son Absalom, killed his younger brother. And so on and on and on and on we can go about influences and different things that are happening because someone was unwilling to step in and to stop it. And when it comes to this, I want to speak to parents, I want to speak to teenagers, I want to speak to younger people, I want to speak to retired people, that you have an influence, and that how you handle the influence that is given to you will determine the next level of influence you are given. Whether you are a teenager and you've got friends that are fighting and you have the power to be the mediator between them, but yet you stand back and you don't handle your friendship with Joe and with John because you see them fighting and you try to console both of them, but it's not going anywhere. Or maybe you even don't. Maybe you just say, oh, they're not going to listen to me. You don't even try. And you end up losing both of them as friends because you weren't willing to step in at the heat of the moment and you let it blow up and you lost the friendship. I believe God wants me to tell you, yes, you are called to be that mediator. You are called to be the person to step in love, not in corrective, but in love, to say, listen, this is what I see in you. This is what I see in them. This is where I believe the good ground is. This is your side. This is their side. Let's come to an agreement in the middle. I'm speaking to parents as well, because those are some things in your children that you as a parent are called to correct. You as their mentor and their guide and their mom and their dad are called to break off of that child before they enter into the real world and have to deal with authorities of higher powers. It is much like children who are not disciplined as a child. They were not taught to respect. They were not taught to love God. They were not taught to put God first. And so what happens is they become troublemakers in school, and if school doesn't correct them, the parents don't see the correction, then eventually they become the next convicts, because if they're not stopped in the little things, that same behavior will continue until greater things. And so I wanted to encourage us all today. Maybe you're like me. And the reason why I'm saying this is because I'm preaching to myself. Because I'm a clamor. I'm the kind of person that if there's an issue, my first interaction and my first instinct is to just step back and let either somebody else handle it, or try to make an excuse as to I'm just going to trust God. I'm going to trust God and he's going to handle it. I do believe in that. I really do. I really do think that there is a balance. And that if you are being told of a situation directly under your control or under your influence that is happening, I truly feel like that in and of itself is God saying, hey, I've given you this influence so you can correct this problem. But I'm not asking every person to just leave and to text every person in your family and tell them how much they need to change and that you are called to correct them. No, that's what I'm asking to do. I'm talking about in your sphere of influence, your children, your friends, close friends, coworkers, your job, whatever it may be. If you've been given that sphere of influence, how are you handling that influence? Whether it is to handle what God has given you correctly in peace, love, and joy, but also there's a proper handling in correction. I'm not saying that you shouldn't ever correct anybody, because correction is needed. Yes, you need to bring that correction, but you need to do it properly and do it God's way. And with that, my friends, I wanted to hopefully encourage you and to help you move forward into those things so you can experience peace. Because if we don't handle the things that around us need to be corrected, we're going to allow that issue to become a cesspool, and we don't want to have stinky lives. And what's up, Jer? You got lunch for me? Come here. You want to say hi to everybody? You got a big old runny nose, bud. Come here. Let's clean that up. You say hi? Hi. So how's everybody doing? Say good. 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 Are you going to steal my hair, bud? All right, say bye to everybody. Bye, buddy. No, don't put that in wrong. All right, so I love you guys. Please handle your sphere of influence correctly. Be able to talk to those, admonish those, love on those, and correct those that God has put you in your influence. And that way you can correct it so it doesn't become a cesspool. So move forward. Don't hold back. Handle what God has given you correctly, and he will bless you to another degree. I love you all. I'll see you tonight at our strong.